So as we can see, with the fiscal year of 2026, the adopted budget does cater to things like safety and security, flexible staffing, transitions, alternate schooling, after-school programs, special programs, health clinics, athletic trainers, salary scale adjustments, resources for world language expansion, tutoring services, IB expansion, fine arts, safety and security, student behavior, recruitment and retention, recovery school, welcome center, and resources to address student anxiety and remove fees for instructional consumables. The budget does support things such as increased funding for special education and EL programs, even investing in the academic interventionalists and counselors. It also helps teacher compensation, such as bonuses and wellness initiatives for retention and stipends. Lastly, it also increases the SRO funding for, again, that safety and school partnerships. However, the money does not follow equity and inclusion. There's a strategic plan that emphasizes equity, but little to no budgeted investments include DEI offices or culturally responsive training. There's reactive, not proactive spending on issues tied to race and gender. There's lack of transparency and communication. Despite stated goals of rebuilding trust, there's low investment in parent-community engagement for staff and transparency tools. There's an inadequate response to infrastructure for student safety incidents, such as the fentanyl and sexual misconduct. And lastly, there is a need for mental health support. Marginal increases in student wellness's budget despite a public commitment to post-COVID recovery. As you can see, this county is no stranger to controversy. There's been a number of controversies, such as the backlash over transgender student policy, Policy 8040, the fentanyl overdoses and emergency response gaps, lawsuits and transparency investigations, superintendent turnover and leadership instability, updated memorandums and understanding with law enforcement, rising non-employee budgets between 2024 and 2025, extended and contentious school board meetings that last well over 7 hours, book challenges and curriculum controversies, and lastly, this ongoing Title IX investigation by the Office of Civil Rights. Policy 8040. This policy allows students to use restrooms and locker rooms based on their gender identity rather than their biological sex. This policy has been a major source of conflict, with some parents arguing its compromises student safety and privacy, particularly for female students. The case of a male student who assaulted a female student in a girls' restroom while wearing a skirt, although he wasn't identified as transgender at the time, has fueled these concerns. Parents have sued LCPS, claiming that the policy violates their children's rights and creates an unsafe environment. The U.S. Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that these parents can pursue a First Amendment lawsuit against the school's bias reporting system. Virginia's Attorney General is investigating LCPS after a Title IX investigation was launched, following a locker room incident, again, where the female student changed clothes and was recorded by some male students.
Last week, 7 News' Nick Minogue broke the story that Loudon County Public Schools is investigating 3 young men who were videotaped inside the boys' locker room at Stonebridge High School. That video was shot by a female student who uses the boys' facilities because she identifies as male. The boys' parents want to know why their sons are being investigated, while the student who shot the video in the locker room, which violates school policy, is not facing the same scrutiny. Tonight, in a 7 News exclusive, Nick has the video that started it all.
7 News obtained the video at the heart of Loudon County Public Schools' Title IX investigation into 3 boys accused of sexual harassment of a female student. That student identifies as a boy and has been using the boys' locker room facilities. She took this video in school.
I'll find out.
The female student turns on her camera and walks into the boys' locker room at Stonebridge High School. Most of the video is dark, but you can hear locker room sounds and boys' voices. This is the moment some of the boys in the locker room realize the female student is there. 30 seconds later, you hear this. That's when the female student appears to take the phone out of her pocket and aims the camera at the boys in the locker room. Shortly after that, the video ends. I spoke to the parents whose sons are under investigation.
I don't even think the Title IX investigation is justified.
The parents are mystified and angry, demanding to know what exactly in this video justifies their sons being formally investigated for sexual harassment.
Loudon County Public Schools absolutely failed these children, every single one of them, including the complainant, and they need to take ownership of it.
I have a daughter that's in high school as well, and if there was a male in there videotaping her in the locker room, I would have issues. If it's my son and there's a female in the locker room videotaping him, I have issues.
Loudoun County Public Schools policy prohibits any kind of recording in locker rooms. But in an email to parents, school officials said the video the girl recorded does not show his son in a compromising situation or, quote, violate his privacy in any way.
I believe that is an invasion of their privacy.
This father tells 7 News LCPS refused to show him the video and the beginning of his son's Title IX meeting. He said the LCPS investigator peppered his son with questions the dad believes were intended to bully him into admitting to something he didn't do.
They didn't show us the video until after they had tried to get my son to say who said what and all this kind of stuff. But then once we saw the video, then we started asking about those context questions and how that could be left out. And they didn't really have a good answer for that.
I asked Superintendent Aaron Spence and all 9 school board members about this case. Only board member Dina Griffiths responded, saying, quote, recognizing biological differences isn't discriminatory. It's common sense, and it's essential for protecting the dignity and safety of all children. You can watch the full 2-minute and 22-second video on WJLA.com right now. The Virginia Attorney General's office is investigating LCPS over this Title IX case, and the U.S. Department of Education is investigating LCPS and 4 other Northern Virginia school districts over policies that allow students to use locker rooms based on gender identity and not biological sex. Nick Minock, 7 News.
Some recommended next steps, of course, include ensuring equity and wellness priorities are protected in the budget. Also, fund proactive community engagement to rebuild trust. Third, invest more in prevention and student services like mental health and bullying. And lastly, conduct equity audits to annually track alignment.